Let's see if anyone's going to join. Let's see if anyone is going to join. Um, la dee dee, la dee da. Let's see. What's today? Today is a Tuesday at 9:33. Okay. Hey guys. I just want to do a quick live. I'm actually going live from my phone and not my actual setup because we are packing because we about to get up on out of here again. So I can't. Well, I can go live from my. I could pull out my microphone and my laptop, but I don't want to do that. So I'm just gonna go live from my phone. Actually, let me plug up my phone because it's about to die. How was everyone doing tonight on this Tuesday? Um, yeah. So I just wanted to go live and talk to y'all for a little while because I know I've been gone for so long. For starters, I had no intentions of taking a break again. After when I came back, I was ready and willing to do my lives, to do my videos, come back full force, full time on YouTube. Um, but not unfortunately, but something came up that was really important to me and I had to take a break. So, okay, how can I start this? So you guys know that I've spoken about my dreams on here before. I've spoken about my dreams and my visions that I have, and I truly believe that they are from the divine. I know that everyone has their own opinions when it comes to that, but I do believe that my dreams and my visions are from the divine. And I had a dream, and I can't remember what day it was. I have it in my notes, but I was laying in bed and I rolled over, and I was rolling over to my right side and someone or whatever whispered in my ear, read the book of Daniel. I have never read the book of Daniel. I didn't know what the book of Daniel was about. But for some reason, that was the message that was given to me. And I'm a very stubborn person. And I like to do things on my time, which is not good because I do believe that when God or whatever you believe in, when the divine, I'll just say the divine, when the divine speaks to you and gives you a command or an order, you should do it. And I'm a very stubborn person, and I did not feel like reading the Bible. Okay, I did not feel like reading it, and so I went days ignoring it, ignoring that message that I received, and I kept going live. I kept doing videos, paying it no mind. And one thing about me is my spirit becomes restless when I don't listen. I don't know why that happens. That it hasn't always been the case for me with that, but as of lately, I want to say maybe the past two, maybe like the past 4 years, when I do not listen to a message that was given to me or a vision that I've gotten, my spirit becomes so restless. I can't sleep. I'm irritated. I'm agitated, which is not good for me now that I don't want to tell my business on here, but now that I, am responsible for someone, for a little person, so I can't afford to be in that state. So it's so funny. I got up one night after all this. I was going live, doing what I was supposed to do. I got up one night on my way to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom. I was sitting on the toilet, child. This is TMI, but I was sitting on the toilet, child, and I was just like, damn, I can't sleep. Like, what is going on? Is it that serious that you want me to read the fucking Daniel right here and right now? Like, I was just really mad and upset that I couldn't, that I was restless and I couldn't sleep. And something said to me again, you must fast. And I said, wait, what? You just told me to read the book of Daniel. Now you want me to fast? And not knowing that the book of Daniel was about him. Well, it wasn't only about that, but he did a 21, Daniel did a 21-day fast in the book of Daniel. And I didn't know that. So that's why nothing was making sense to me. So I ended up calling my aunt the next morning, and I was just talking to her about my dreams. and just asking for her opinion. I think I've said this to you guys before, but she knows the Bible like the back of her hand, okay? And you could ask her anything, any chapter, any scripture, honey, she's gonna be able to break it down for you. She was a preacher before she became sick, so yeah. So I was talking to her, and I was telling her, even talking about it now gives me chills. Oof. Okay. I was talking to her about a dream that I had. And in that dream, after I told her about God telling me to read the book of Daniel, and I didn't want to read it, and I was just calling her for her to give me the cliff notes of what happened in the book of Daniel. And she didn't want to do that. She didn't want to give me the cliff notes. So I was really calling her for that, if I would be real with you. I was like, well, I wanted her to tell me what was happening, what was going on in the book of Daniel. So after I told her about that dream that I had, and she was like, yeah, you have to read that. Like, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts around it. You know what happens to you spiritually when you don't follow. So you have to read it. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm going to read it. So then I started talking to her about these other 2 or 3 dreams that I had, and she started laughing immediately. And so I was telling her, like, yeah, I had a dream. This was maybe, and God has a funny way of talking to each of us, and he knows how each of us operates, and he makes sure that he meets us where we are. And the reason I'm saying that is because maybe like a year ago, or was it a year ago? I feel like it was like a year ago, or maybe a little bit less than that, maybe 9 or 8 months ago. I have a dream, right? And this is going to sound really weird, but in my dream, I sit in this room, and I'm facing this short, skinny black lady with a mini afro. And she looks at me, and she gives me, and every time I dream, I know that I'm dreaming, by the way. So she looks at me, and she gives me like this vision, this weird vision of something that I don't want to say on here. I said, that's weird. So she leaves. She leaves out the dream. This Hispanic man comes and sits in front of me. He keeps saying to me, Miguel, and I keep repeating back to him, Michael. And we do this dance over and over and over again in my dream. He says Miguel, I say Michael. He says Miguel, I say Michael. Even in my dream, I'm throwing my hands up like, Michael, like, right? That's how the dream ends. I didn't bother to write, when I woke up that morning, I didn't bother to write the dream down. I didn't bother to try to remember it because I was so irritated. I was so irritated by that dream that I did not even bother. And I always write down my dreams, whether it be like pen to pad or whether it be like in my notes where I keep all my dreams. I date them, I time them and everything. I was so irritated with that dream that I didn't even bother to write it down. So I'm telling my aunt this dream, and she is cracking up laughing. I don't know why she's laughing, but she's cracking up laughing. Then I tell her about another dream that I had about Gabriel. Gabriel, I didn't know the angel Michael, and I didn't know the angel Gabriel. Okay, I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. So I'm telling her I had a dream about Gabriel, and she was like, well, what was that dream? I said, it was really weird. I was coming out of my apartment, and as I got to the balcony of my apartment, because someone was calling me out to the balcony of my apartment in this dream, and it was so weird. I didn't know why they were calling me to the balcony of my apartment. So somehow they climb over the balcony, and they just disappear. And keep in mind, like where I stay at, it's not like it's on a side, so it's not like it's not like a lot of traffic. So I don't know why I did this in a dream, but in the dream, something told me, no, you cannot go out the way that you normally, I'm getting chills talking about this, oof. Because I was going out to meet the person that had climbed over my balcony, like where the hell did this person go? So I was gathering my stuff to go downstairs and try to meet them, see where they went. Something in the dream said, no. You can't go out that way. You can't go out the way that you normally go out. That interest is no longer available to you. It's closed. You have to climb over the balcony like that person did and follow them. And I said, huh? I go back to the balcony in my dream, and I look down, and it's nothing but traffic. It's cars. It's like a 2-3 level highway. And I'm like, where did this come from? I don't live on a busy street. Like, where did this come from? Of course, I climb over the balcony, and I'm on the edge, tiptoeing to the other side. And on the other side, obviously, there's not like in the real world, there's nothing there, obviously. Like you would just fall. And so I'm tiptoeing and I don't know where I'm going because I know once I get to the opposite side of this balcony, there's nothing there, right? There's nothing there. By the time I make it to the other side of the balcony, there are stairs. Out of nowhere, there are stairs. I go down the, and it's a narrow, itsy bitsy, teeny tiny staircase. I go down the stairs, and I'm trying to keep up with this person. I'm following this person. This person is never looking back, and as this person is walking, I don't know if it's a man or a woman, and I keep saying, "Hey, like where are you going?" I'm following this person. I follow this person up and down these it was concrete, but it was just really hilly, like it was just hills. And so this person leads me up to some other apartment. I know this sounds crazy, y'all, but this person leads me up to another apartment. I follow them. I go up the stairs to another apartment. Once I enter the apartment, it is nothing. It is nothing but a sea of my ancestors. It is nothing but a sea of my ancestors in this place. And they're all just sitting around looking at me. They're all just sitting around looking at me. And in the middle of it, there's a table. And I'm looking at them like, why? And I don't even know how to explain it to you. It's not like I knew who these people were. I saw their faces. I remember their faces. It was just an instinct that told me I am in the presence of my ancestors. So they're all sitting around. Some are sitting by the window. Some are leaning on the wall. Some are sitting on couches. And they're all just staring at me. And I'm in front of this table. And there's like a sheet or something over this table. And so I go to pull the sheet off the table, and it's this, like, I don't even know what it was. I just remember the color was red. That's all I remember is the color was red. And I was like, what was that about? And as I'm leaving out that dream, I hear the word, because I left out the dream confused. So as I'm leaving out that dream and I'm waking up confused, I hear the word Gabriel. And I said, what? Gabriel? So I tell my aunt this dream. I tell my aunt about the dream that I had of the angel Michael. I tell my aunt about the dream I had of the angel Gabriel. Keep in mind, at that time I was telling her the dream, I didn't really, I didn't know their roles that they played in the Bible. I didn't even know that they were angels in the Bible. I thought maybe this was just someone out of the Bible that, maybe I had to read about up on them or something in the Bible. So I didn't understand the role that they played in the Bible, that they were angels, right? So I tell her these three dreams. I tell her about the dream of Michael. I tell her about the dream of Gabriel, and I tell her about my dream when someone whispered in my ear, "You need to read the book of Daniel." And then how I was sitting on the toilet and something said to me, "You need to fast." I was like, "What? You need to fast?" And she was like, she said my name, and she was like, "All that you just said, all of that pertains to the book of Daniel." So God is he is literally dropping little bits of information on you from about a year ago to prepare you for whatever to prepare you for whatever it is that you are stepping into now in this moment, in this season. And then once I read the book of Daniel and I understood, I think it was, you guys let me know in the chat. Welcome. I think it was, I don't know if it was Michael or if it was Gabriel that came to Daniel after his 21-day fast and told him, your prayers were answered on the first day. I have been praying for something for so long. You cannot make this up, man. I have been praying for something, about something for so long that I'm like, well, is this prayer ever going to get answered? Is this prayer ever going to get answered? And once I read the book of Daniel, I understood the reason why God wanted me to read that, for me to understand that what I was praying for had already been answered. And now that I am living in my answered prayers for a while now, for some reason, he wanted me to read that to show me, like, look, you remember you prayed to me about this for a couple years ago? And look how it came to pass, and look how I had answered your prayers on this. Now I want you to go back and now I want you to read the book of Daniel so that you can see that I am listening to you. I hear you. I hear what you're asking me for. I hear what you're praying for. I see your obedience. And I just wanted to show you, like, Daniel went through something similar, maybe not as extreme as not I can't say extreme because what he went through was very extreme, child, but maybe not on. I'm trying to say it without giving too much away, but there was something that I had prayed for years, and it had finally came to pass. My dreams had, my prayers were finally answered, and I remember during that time just thanking God, like, thank you for this. I didn't know if that window for me had closed, but thank you for answering that prayer, and I had left it at that. And I felt like it was God. I felt like it was God almost coming back around saying, like, look, remember you prayed about this and remember I answered this? I just want to show you that I'm listening to you. I want you to read the book of Daniel because I want you to see that I am listening to you, that this is not by mistake, that this prayer was answered for you. I just get chills talking about it because I could not believe that I could not believe the message that I received during my fast. I could not believe the message that I received during my fast, what he wanted to say to me. It wasn't like he wanted me to fast for any like particular, how can I say this, like any like particular reason. He wanted me to fast just for him to talk to me and say to me, remember what you prayed for and how I answered that? I just wanted to come to you and tell you, like, look, what you prayed for, your prayers have been answered. And I wanted you to read the book of Daniel just to show you, like I keep saying this, but just to show you that I hear you. And so that's why I had went missing for a while, because I could not, I had no choice but to follow through with it. I didn't want to fast. I had never fasted. I fasted that long once before in my life, and that was in my early 20s. I did like a 3-month, it was something crazy, y'all. I don't know what came over me spiritually, but something had told me to do like a 3-month fast. I did a 3-month water fast in my 20s. I don't know what the hell came over me. But that was so long ago, and obviously I was a lot younger and I was able to withstand more, right? You know, the older you get, you know, sometimes it's harder for you to withstand certain things. So when I did this 21-day fast, it was so hard for me. And I don't know if anyone knows the Daniel fast, but he basically only ate pulse food, no sweets, no carbs, no rice, nothing, just all vegetables. All he had was vegetables. And so all I had was, I had baked vegetables, I had vegetable soup, honey, any and everything but vegetables. That was all I ate for 21 days. And it was extremely hard. Like I said, no sugar, no juice, no nothing, just water and vegetables. And during that time, during my fast, I prayed 3 times a day. I went to my prayer closet that I have, or that I had, because it's packed up now. And I prayed 3 times a day. And my dreams were even more, it's so weird, my dreams were even more clear during the fast than they've ever been. But yeah, that's why I went missing, because it was because I literally had no choice. It was like, I have to do this. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. It was something literally that God put on my spirit to do. And like I said, I was so restless because I was not being obedient. I did not want to read the book. I don't know why. I just didn't feel like reading the Bible at that time. I did not want to read the book of Daniel. I just didn't feel like cooperating. I didn't feel like being obedient. And I became so restless to the point where I could not sleep. I simply could not sleep. And I was left with no choice. I kid you not. I was left with no choice but to do the fast. So yeah, that's why I went missing. I don't know if anyone has ever been through something like that. I don't know if what is this? I don't know how to get this off my screen because I'm on my phone. Oh my goodness. Ugh. This is the problem with being on your phone. Wow. What do I do? I don't know what to do. Anyway, but yeah, that's why I had to take a break. And then after the break, we got some really good news. We got some really good news. And so now we are packing up again, and we about to be out of here again. I'm so excited. You have no idea how excited I am to leave the U.S. child because oof, this it's not good for my nervous system. This place is just not good for my nervous system. So I'm trying to figure out how can I get back to doing lives again. You know, since I'll be overseas and the time difference will be more than 12 hours. So I'm trying to figure that out now. Maybe I'll just stick to videos, posting videos on my other channel because I don't know how that's going to work for me. Like you guys's mornings will be my nights and my nights will be your mornings. So I'm really trying to see how can I work this out. Um, what else did I want to talk about? That was really it. I just wanted to touch on that. And I hope I explained it. I know it sounds like like what I'm saying just sounds all over the place. Um, but yeah, I really wanted to tell you guys that. And also just to say, never ignore the divine. When you have a gut feeling or when you feel like you received the message and your whole body begins to tense or you feel a shiver down your spine, and you know that it's a message that you just received, don't ignore it. Please do not, please do not ignore it. Because that is 100% the divine talking to you. Like I said, I don't know what anyone believes in, whatever it is that you believe in. But when something like that happens to you, or if or like me, you become restless, it is the divine trying to get your attention for some reason or another. So please do not ignore it. Because reading the book of Daniel, it talks about how the angel Michael was fighting Daniel's spiritual battles. That's why it took him 21 days to get to him because he was fighting his spirit. He was fighting on his behalf, like his spiritual battles on his behalf. And I don't know if anyone knows anything about the angel Gabriel, but he's someone that how can I say it? He's an angel that helps like decipher your dreams, like help you understand your dreams more. And like I said, being that I am someone who dreams almost every night, sometimes I wake up in confusion. Still, sometimes I don't quite understand or grasp the meaning of the dream in that moment. So I think that was God telling me telling me that he's putting me on a different playing field as far as like my dreams and leveling me up as far as like what he is now I don't want to say exposing me to, but the knowledge that he's giving me now when it comes to my dreams. Because after that fast, I do feel like it is somewhat easier for me to understand them. Like it's quicker for me to catch on to the message and the meaning of the dreams. And it's so weird because some of the dreams that I have, they feel so opposite of the message behind the dream. But for some reason now I'm able to understand them faster, which is so weird to me after that fast. So I think that that was something else. That was another reason why God wanted me to fast and get through this for whatever test or situation he was putting me through. He wanted me to get through it so that he could give me more clarity when it came to my dreams. And I also felt like he was letting me know that you are protected, and that everything is going to be okay. Especially now that I just got news that another aunt of mine has congestive heart failure. He knew all this before it happened. You know what I mean? So I think that also he was telling me like, yes, you have people fighting on your behalf. Especially with the dream that I had about the angel Michael. I literally feel like that was him telling me, you have people behind the scenes fighting your spiritual battles. There's nothing for you to worry about, because every time I hear that a family member I think they said it's like hereditary or something like that in my family. So every time I hear that another woman in my family has died from congestive heart failure or has congestive heart failure, it always does something to me. It makes me so uncomfortable. It makes me like antsy. And he knew that that information was coming to me. And I just feel like, again, that was just him once again reassuring me. There were just so many messages that I needed to receive and understand behind me doing that fast. But yeah, so that's why I was gone. I had to do that fast. Child, I cried almost every day. I was so miserable. Like the first week, they said the first 3 days are the hardest. Child, it was the first week. Um, hey, I've missed you. Oh, thank you. I've missed you guys too. It was the first week for me, honey. I was so miserable. Thank goodness my man's mom came and was helping me with stuff. Because I was miserable. I was so miserable. Oh my goodness. There were times where I would go into my prayer closet, not even to pray, just to cry. Because I didn't want anyone to see me crying. So I would go in there just to cry like a newborn child. I would just cry, 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 cry because I didn't want to do it. And when I first began doing the fast, I didn't understand why I was being called to do it. But thank goodness I got through it. And I feel like maybe this would be something I do once a year now. I'm not sure. I'm not making any promises to myself, but I feel like maybe this is something that I would like to do once a year. And what's so crazy is the day that I got the message that I need to do a fast, I had some steak that I had seasoned in my refrigerator, and I had planned on making it that day. And I remember saying to myself, well, listen, I'm going to eat this steak, and then tomorrow I'm going to start my fast. Tomorrow, so I made the steak that day. The next day I started my fast, and the next day was, hold on. The day I started my fast, it was Ash Wednesday. So on Tuesday, I had called of last month. So on Tuesday, and it was the first day of Ramadan. So on Tuesday, I was speaking to my aunt, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to start my fast tomorrow. I'm not starting that shit tonight. I ain't starting that shit today. I'm going to start it tomorrow. I'm going to start it tonight at midnight. Well, it was the next day, Wednesday, tomorrow at midnight. So I was like, I'm going to make my steak, honey. I had already seasoned it. I'm going to make this steak, and I'm going to eat this steak. And then come Wednesday, I'll start my fast. So I went to my calendar, and I put in my calendar on my phone, like, starting fast from the, what was it, the 8th or whatever to whatever. So I go to my calendar, and I put the information in, and it says Ash Wednesday, first day of Ramadan. I said, oh my God. I said, yeah, God is really talking to me. He's telling me, yeah, you gonna do this fast. He was literally talking to me, telling me that I had to do this fast. I thought that was so funny. Hey girl, hey, missed you on that channel. I found you some years ago there when you were giving us an update about your dad being sick and your brother, I think, that long. So glad to hear. Yeah, he's passed since then. Thank you, sugar dumpling. Yeah. But yeah, so I thought that was crazy that I was supposed to start. I was going to start the fast on Tuesday, and I said hell no because I want to eat my steak. I'm gonna start it on Wednesday, and I go to my calendar on my phone to put in first day of fast, and it says Ash Wednesday. And I'm telling you, me and my aunt had a cackle that day because she was like, he's literally talking to you, and you just want to keep ignoring, you just want to keep ignoring him for some reason. But yeah, what else did I want to touch on? Oh, you know what I wanted to say? Actually, I wanted to do a live on this. Um, like a thorough live on this with all the information. Has anyone been keeping up with the president of Ghana and how his raggedy ass came over here on behalf of Foundational Black Americans, FBAs or EBAs, Ethnic Black Americans, and decided that he I don't know if he went to the Senate, wherever he went to speak to the president about reparations on behalf of us? Has anyone been keeping up with that? I thought that was the craziest batch crazy I had ever seen in my life. Excuse me, so you're not fighting for reparations because there were also slaves sent to the Caribbean. There were also slaves sent to Brazil. I think Brazil has the highest population of black people outside of America, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously outside of Africa, but outside of America, I think Brazil is first or second. I think they have even a higher population than us. Somebody in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, because they were brought over there. So you mean to tell me for some reason, you want to come to the United States of America and fight for reparations on behalf of us and not anyone else? Not anyone else in the diaspora, the black diaspora, who suffered the same unfortunate, situation that we were in, like, chattel slavery. I just thought that was so weird. They came over here and did some damn ritual, honey. Okay, because that's what I'm gonna call it, a goddamn ritual. Thank you, sugar. Came over here, did some ritual in front of the what was it? Damn, what was it? The African. It was called the. I can't remember, but they did some type of ceremony, some type of ritual, and then you had leaders like Ben Crump and Al Sharpton deciding to jump on the bandwagon. You know, these fake ass. Oh, let me not curse, but these fake political leaders in our community. Gone are the days of Fred Hampton. Gone are the days of Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers. Like, we no longer have actual real leaders in our community anymore. All of these, everything is a money grab. I just want to, and I hope a lot of us are waking up to. A lot of us are waking up to it, and I hope a lot of us continue to wake up to the BS. Everything is a money grab for these fake ass political leaders in our community. And it's just, I don't understand it. I just did not understand it. Like, you only want to fight for the reparations of us. And it just, I hate to say this, but it continues to show me and to show us who are the chosen ones and how if you read the Bible and how our 400 years are up. Our 400 years are up and how we are stepping back into our power. All the attacks from everyone, from Black immigrants, first generation Black immigrants, from all the Hispanics, all the Caribbeans. We're foundational Black Americans, ethnic Black Americans are getting attacked from every side, from everyone. And like I said, it just goes to show you who really are the chosen ones and how we are quite literally in real time stepping back into our power. And also, I wanted to talk about just really quickly because I didn't do all of my research, so I don't want to say too much. But also, I wanted to say, do not let these people play you out your spot. A lot of us, I don't know why this is a conversation that keeps getting brushed under the rug, and every time we try to touch on it, and every time we try to talk about it, people like to shut it down and call us stupid and tell us how we don't know our history when it comes to this country. I want people to look up the Loving versus Virginia. It was a case from 1967 with Mildred and Richard. This was an interracial couple. It was an Irish man who married who they called not just Negro, but I'm going to get to that. So this case went to trial. And in the court documents and in the articles from that time, do y'all know how they identified that lady, Mildred? They identified her as half Negro, half Native, half Negro, part Negro, part Native. Part Native, part Negro. That's how they identified her. So they knew even back then that we are native to this land. Because you mean to tell me, and on every continent, in every country, they recognized that the first people there were melanated people, dark, deeply rich, richly melanated people. But for some reason, when it comes to the Americas, that's just simply not true. You know, that's just simply not true. The first people here in America were not Black people. It makes that's asinine to me. That makes absolutely no fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense. Everyone around the world can recognize that the first people on their land were Black people, were Black Aboriginal people. But for some reason in America, that just simply cannot be the case. I want people to look up that case, the Loving versus Virginia, and how they identified that lady as part Native, part Negro. Also, I want you to look up Miles Davis. There is an interview that he did that they are quite literally I spoke about this before, they are trying to scrub this information from the internet. This man spoke about how he grew up so privileged and how he grew up on acres on top of, he was born in the early 1900s. I want to say like 19, if anyone knows, I think he was born in 1926 or 1927. And he became this really famous jazz player. He spoke in an interview, he talked about how, and I'm going to tell you how I got this information. I had to dig, okay, for this information. He did an interview, I think it was in the 1960s or 1970s. And he spoke about how he grew up really privileged and how they never wanted for anything, and how he grew up on his father owned acres on top of acres on top of acres of land, and he called it a farm. And he talked about how the government forced them to reclassify what was known as a goddamn reservation. The government forced his parents, to reclassify it as a farm, quite literally trying to strip them of their native heritage. And I don't know if anyone has ever looked at Miles Davis. You can tell that man is native. He looked like a melanated chocolate ass native man. There's a girl that I can't remember where she's from. I think her name is Freedom something on TikTok. Her name, you know, the funny thing is all this information is slowly starting to come out. All these fake ass $5 Indians, okay, that is on those reservations. Those are not the real natives. The ones with the blonde hair and the blue eyes, the ones that have the really, really, really light skin. Those are get mad if you want. Those are not the real natives. There's a girl on TikTok. I think her name is Freedom something. You guys can look her up. Her real name is Shaquina. Her real name is Shaquina, right? So someone got in her bio, she has feathers and she says that she's native. I can't remember the tribe that she said that she's from, but it's in her bio on TikTok. Listen to this, y'all. Listen to what I'm about to say to you. Listen to what I am about to say to you, and then proceed to look it up in real time if you think I'm lying. Look it up while you're listening to me. While you are listening to the sound of my voice, look this up. Her name is Shaquina or something like that, right? So someone gets down in her comment section and begins to berate her, call her out her name, all types of crazy mess. They start talking to her crazy, talking about you ain't no native, this, and you people are dumb, you don't know your history, blah, blah, blah. Sister girl then goes and proceeds to find a village in Wisconsin. You want to know what the village name is? Look this up in real time, y'all. You want to know what the village name is? Shaquina, Chenequa, in Wisconsin, in the county Waukesha. The county is called Waukesha. I am not lying to you. Look this up right now. The county is called Waukesha. Waukesha in Wisconsin. So when I tell you the information, the true history, the true cultivators of this land is slowly but surely starting to come out. Look up all the black natives who have been fighting for decades, who are finally starting to get their land back, who are finally quietly. It's not hitting the media. It's not hitting the news unless you look for this information. Look at all the people that are starting to get their land back that look like me and you. That look like me and you. So do not let these people play you out your spot. Obviously, there was a lot of mixing during slavery. Obviously. So obviously a lot of us have a lot of lineage that obviously goes back to Africa. And a lot of us have a lot of motherfucking lineage right here on this American soil. And that is what they are trying to keep. This is why I said I don't know if this page will get monetized again, because they don't like when I talk about stuff like when I talk about stuff like this, I get flagged. On my other channel, when I do stories on the history of our people, flagged day in and day out. I get flagged day in and day out over there. They don't like the stories that I'm telling over there. So that's why I always say I don't want to put that negative energy out into the atmosphere. But I always say, like, I don't know if this page will ever get monetized again because of that. But yeah, look it up in real time. It's in Wisconsin. The village is called Shaquina or something like that. I'll spell it to y'all one more time so y'all can find it. It's Chenequa. Okay. And the small little village is Waukesha County. Waukesha. It's Waukesha. It's pronounced Waukesha. Yeah. Look it up in real time. Everybody always pronounces it. Yeah. So when I say they have been trying to play us out our spot, they have really been trying to play us out our spot. And you could also look this information up too in real time. During the 1970s, when cotton gin became really, really popular, and they needed more a quicker influx of slaves, what they started doing is, well, they've been doing it. They were creating treaties with a lot of these natives and saying, hey, if you allow us to marry one of the women in your family and become a chief, we won't come after you. So they were creating all these treaties with a lot of these natives. And another thing that they were doing was, because cotton gin had become so popular, because people like to think that we only came over here and we were picking cotton. We were doing so many other things before that. So what they did was they went to the government and they said, listen, there are a bunch of Negroes on native land. We can reclassify them and put them into slavery because of the skin color and you know how they look. So what did they do? They took these Negroes off their land and put them into slavery. The natives, once again, that looked like me and you. People look up Miles Davis and look what that man looks like. And tell me if I'm lying. So they started capturing these people, taking them off their land, and putting them into slavery because now they needed even more people because cotton gin had become so popular. Cotton gin became really popular in the 1700s. And I said that I was going to go back to Miles Davis. So there's an article. I have to find it because I read so much that there's an article that Miles Davis did. And I was reading the article. It's a long-ass article. I was reading the article, and it cuts off right where he starts talking about his native ancestry. And I thought that was so weird. So then I went on over to Amazon to see if I could find the full article, which I thought was the full article. So I purchased it off of Amazon. And once again, they are erasing our history in real time. I just want y'all to know that. So I go to Amazon and I purchase it thinking I'm about to purchase the entire article. Nope, it cuts off at the same spot where Miles Davis starts talking about his native ancestry. So then I go over to damn, what was it? I can't even get it because everything is packed. Shit. What's that site, y'all, where you could bid on stuff and you could purchase it if you bid on it? What's that site, y'all? My mind is drawing a blank right now. I don't know if it's because I'm hungry or what. But so anyway, I go on that site. Nobody was bidding on it, chat. It was an article. Nobody was trying to bid on this damn article. So I bought the article. And that's when I was able to have the complete article. And on the opposite side of the article, I found the rest of the article where Miles Davis talking about his native ancestry. So when I say that they are trying to erase our history in real time, they know that this is the age of the Aquarius. They know that our time is due. Our time is due. Their karma is coming to them at a record pace right now. And they know that our time is due. And they know that the awakening has started. And when I tell you these people are scared shitless, these people are scared shitless. They are removing monuments. They are closing museums that are dedicated to foundational Black Americans. They are doing quietly, and they're doing this quietly. They are doing any and everything to erase our history in real time. You can go to Google and look up something, and it will give you wrong information. Then you can proceed to do your research and search and search and search and actually find the articles. And what Google is, that's why I said Google is dangerous. ChatGPT is dangerous because what Google is telling you and the information that you actually digged and did research on, even there were even some books that I had to order from overseas because they're refusing to sell the books now here in America. And so the information that you'd find in a book, the information that you'd find if you do like deep research for hours and hours and hours, the information is totally different on Google and in ChatGPT. And they know that we have a literacy crisis here in America, and they know that the Gen Zs and the Alphas are not reading as much as the millennials and the Gen Xers. They know that they're not reading like how we had to read. They don't have textbooks in their schools anymore and stuff like that, computer labs and stuff. So anyway, they know that they're not reading the way, like I said, we have a literacy crisis in America right now, especially with Black and brown children. So they know that a lot of these kids are running to Google and reading the first 3 sentences that pop up on Google, or going to Chat GPT and reading those few sentences that, oh, you're from Wisconsin? Oh, so you know where I'm talking about this, sugar. When it comes to that, yeah. So they know that it's easier for them to just put anything out there, and the Gen Zs and the alphas are just gonna go with that, whatever they see on Google or in ChatGPT. And that's really scary. That's really scary. That's why it's so important to spread this information, like from the older generation. It's so important to make sure like the actual facts and the actual information get out there. That's why I always say, like, look this information up in real time if you think I'm lying. Look it up in real time. You know what I'm saying? Because I found the information. So if you want to look it up in real time as I'm speaking to you, so that you can see that I'm not just pulling this shit out my you know what. But yeah, I thought that was really crazy when it came to Miles Davis, how I had to jump through all those hoops to find that information on that man. And also, there's a lady from, I'm scared to say anything because everything is just so censored. I feel like we're in a damn dictatorship now. But fuck it, I'm not monetized on this page anymore. There's a lady from Palestine, and she spoke about how for some reason she did the 23andMe, that DNA test where you spit in a cup or whatever, you send it off and whatever. And it came back that she was, what, 99% or 95, whatever it was, Palestinian, right? No arguments there. She's Palestinian, grew up there. That's her homeland, right? She had did the test a few years later. And the test said that she was less than 75% Palestinian. How is that possible? That all of a sudden this woman is less than 75% Palestinian? What else would she be? And because you know what's happening with the it's not real people, the small hat people, right? I think that they are not just erasing our history, but also erasing those people's history, because obviously they are trying to push them off their land completely. And so they are now saying that, according to the 23andMe, that these people are not even Palestinian. It's crazy what the government, the FBI, and the CIA can do. It's crazy what they can do. And what they are doing is absolutely crazy. So you can't even trust those tests. They are suppressing our native numbers, and they are adding those native numbers to the numbers when it comes to the percentage of what percentage of us are from Africa. They are taking those native numbers, and they are putting those numbers onto our percentage, as far as like what percentage we are, what percentage of our DNA makeup is African. So you could be 50 native, 50 African, or you could be, I don't know, because all of us have like 10 to 15, percent of like European, obviously, DNA, because of how we were brought over here. Well, how some of us were brought over here. So they will take not that percentage, that 10 to 15%, but they'll take that 40, 30, 40% or whatever, and add it to the African percentage, and just say, yeah. So you're 3% Asian, you're 10% European, whatever, you're 1% this, and you're 85% Nigerian. You're 85% Nigerian. Your ass is from Africa. So yeah, that is what's happening. And like I said, I need us to continue to read, continue to fight, and continue to find the information, because you won't know this stuff unless you actually read and look it up. You won't know this information. You won't know this information. Like I said, this is the age of the Aquarius. All the information is coming out. Everything is coming to light. Everything is coming to light, and they hate it. And actually, there was a tribe. The names are so difficult to pronounce, and I feel like that's why I can't say it. But there was a tribe, one of those $5 tribes, that lost their land. because the government knew that they weren't real natives. The government knew that they weren't real natives. So there are a lot of things that they're doing behind the scenes. And because Trump is trying to censor everything that is coming in and out of America, stuff like this is just not making the news. Like Mark Zuckerberg was just in court for something to do with, obviously, with Facebook, and an 11-year-old child or something. I don't know if the child had unalived themselves or whatever it was, but it was something to have to do with the child rules and regulations when it comes to Facebook. So he was in court, and I don't think anyone knew that this man was in court about that. So like they're censoring a lot of stuff, even when it comes to the war between the U.S. and Iran. Even though they don't want to call it a war, it is a war. For a long time, Trump wouldn't even acknowledge the fallen soldiers. He wouldn't even acknowledge how many had passed away. They kept throwing that number out there that it was only 3 and that it was only 4 when it was way more than that. He keeps trying to pretend as if he is winning the war or that he won the war. And if you're watching I'm trying to be real careful. And if you're watching international news, you know that that is simply not the case. That is simply not the case. You know, this is something that has been brewing for between America and Iran for, like, I want to say, what, 100 years? Someone correct me in the chat. But for a very long time. For a very long time. So when I tell you Iran was ready, they were ready. They were ready. Okay? So if you are not watching Korean news, international news, look, watch international news. That's the only way you're going to find information. That is the only way. But yeah, so there's a lot going on. And especially when it comes to us. And I'm curious to know what people identify themselves as. Like I said, I identify as the EBA or FBA, Ethnic Black American, Foundational Black American, Sulani. You know that y'all know the flag was that I always post, which is a Black American heritage flag. It is very different than the Pan-African flag. It is a flag specific to ethnic Black Americans. And I don't know if anyone really knows much about that flag, but I'm just curious as to what people identify as. If you are a Black American, meaning that you don't have any immigrant like you don't have an immigrant background, like you don't have an immigrant mother or father or grandparent, or your grandparents on both sides are non-immigrant. I'm always curious as to what, for the most part, when I run into Black Americans, they identify as EBA or FBA, even though the term FBA has been around for at least 5 years now. I don't know why it's becoming really popular now, but it is, and I don't know why the Black American Heritage flag is becoming really popular now, because it's been around for so long. I remember I put the Black American Heritage flag as the reef as my profile picture a couple years ago, and I remember people messaging me in the DMs asking me, what is that? What is that reef? I remember when I put it on my YouTube channel, people were asking me, like, what is that reef? And I'm like, baby, that's the reef from the Black American Heritage flag. Yeah, it was created during the Civil Rights Movement. So yeah, I just feel like a lot of us are waking up and really reclaiming what is rightfully ours. So like I said, I'm always curious as to what a lot of us are choosing to identify. Like, are a lot of us still choosing to identify as African American? Are we choosing to identify as ethnic Black American? Like, so are we choosing to identify as Solani? I'm always curious, because I know that Jesse Jackson, it wasn't a term that he created. It was actually created by a Jew that was working, I believe, in the government. I'm not even going to get into that because I really get my channel taken. But I know that Jesse Jackson popularized the term. And what's so interesting about Jesse Jackson is he was collecting benefits because he was speaking to us, telling us we're African American, I'm Black and I'm proud, but he identified as Native. So he was collecting his native benefits. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if y'all know that. You can find that information just like I did. Do your research. It's going to take you a while. There's going to be a lot of articles you have to read, a lot of archives you have to go through and find the information. But yes, that's how they identified us. So we went through multiple reclassifications here on this land. Yeah. Yep. Which is insane to me. Because let them tell it, we flat, listen, you black, flat black, that's just what it is. You African, your ass is African American. Yeah, we don't need you waking up and realizing that you're actually native to this land. Okay, we don't need you to realize that. And it's so funny because I've had conversations on panels, on other panels, and they're saying like, well, why are you denying that you're African? I'm like, well, do you ask the Jamaicans why are they saying that they are Jamaican and they're not African Jamaican? Are you asking the Trinidadians why they are saying they're Trinidadian, not African Trinidadian, Trinidadian African? No, you're not. But for some reason, when it comes to foundational Black Americans, you quite literally are trying to shove it down our throats, forcing us, okay, to say that we are African American. I'm telling you, the more that is revealed, the more that it shows who we are and the power we possess. The more it shows, because what is the reason? What was that reason, right? What is in the Cardi B voice? What is the reason they are constantly trying to keep us in the dark when it comes to who we are? What's the reason? I'm telling you, we are stepping back into our power. And look that up. Look at all the reclassifications that happened to us from the 1800s till now. Look at all the reclassifications. And I remember on my other channel, I did a story on Paul Robeson. And I think even one point, Paul Robeson's father identified himself as a native. His father was born in the 1800s. He was a runaway slave. Paul Robeson's father was a runaway slave. Paul Robeson was first generation removed from slavery. And I think his father, like, yeah, y'all. Yeah. So like I said, if for anyone who wants to have a little bit of homework, look up this information, read and find it, especially the younger generation, because y'all are the future. You guys will shape what will happen in the decades to come. So if you don't have the fighting spirit, if you don't have the want or need to search and find if the true identities of yourselves, then who will, right? So yeah, that's all I really have for you guys. Like I said, I'm packing up and about to head out soon. Unfortunately, well, fortunately and unfortunately, fortunately because America is not good for my nervous system, but unfortunately because I hate having to get everything. If it was just me, it would be one thing, but because it's not just me, it's like, I have to make sure I have everything in order. I have to make sure I have vaccines. I have to make sure, I just have to make sure I have everything in order. And that's a lot. And what else? It was something else I wanted to say. Oh yeah, also, make sure you're doing your yearly checkups. Make sure that, I know it's hard right now because everything, even food that's organic is not organic, but making sure for the most part you're trying to eat as clean and healthy as possible. Make sure you have your daily water intake. And if you can't keep your water in a glass or buy water in a glass, make sure you buy it in actual glass and not plastic. I know that's almost impossible for a lot of people, but if you can, and if you have a backyard or if you have a spare space in your apartment or somewhere in your apartment, or like I said, if you have a backyard, try to grow your own fruits and vegetables. Maybe try to plant 1 to 2 things every 3 months, every 3 or 4 months, just to see if you have a green thumb, or just to, just start out slowly so you can get comfortable doing it. because what we're going through right now here in America, and everything, like I said, everything that's coming to light and getting exposed, all the, over 200,000 or over 300,000 black women lost their jobs when Trump came into office. They laid so many of us off. These are just little things that you can do to lower your monthly costs for, for yourself or for your family. Try to see if you could plant some fruits and vegetables. If you can't afford to buy like water, like from the store, try to boil your water that way. What else? Like I said, try to eat as clean and as healthy as you possibly can, because there's so many sicknesses, in particular within the Black American raised the Black American community. We're dealing with so much, not just financially, but health wise as well. So do all that you can to eat healthy. If that means incorporating more vegetables into your diet, more fruits into your diet, less carbs, less sugar, yeah, stuff like that. Try to make juices, like try to make your own juices if you have a juicer at home, or try to make your own smoothie if you have a blender at home. If you're like craving sugar or if you're craving juice, you can make a juice yourself. Or even if you go on like the TikTok shop, you can find a juicer for like $100. If you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like if you can't afford like an actual expensive high end name brand juicer, then you can go right there on the TikTok shop, honey, and get a juicer for like $100 and start making your own juices that way. Because like I said earlier, I had just not just got news, but I got news that another aunt of mine has congestive heart failure. So that's my mother, my sister, my aunt that passed away from congestive heart failure. My mother passed away from congestive heart failure. My sister passed away from cancer, but she also had congestive heart failure. They both had a heart murmur. My mother and my sister had a heart murmur. My aunt, that I didn't know too well, only met her a handful of times. She passed away from congestive heart failure. Actually, me and her daughter, my cousin, are starting to become really close. But she passed away from congestive heart failure. My father had 2 strokes before he passed away, and now I have an aunt in the hospital with congestive heart failure. Yeah, and I thank God every day. I get my heart checked every day, and I thank God every day that my heart is healthy and fine. Because yeah, it runs in my family. So make sure you're going, like I said, you're going to your checkups. Make sure you're not missing any of your checkups. Make sure you're going for your annual exams for everything. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And I will catch y'all on the next live. Bye, girl. Now, how do I end this? Because I'm on my phone. Ciao. Dear Lord, how do I end this? That says, wow, how long has she had it or been diagnosed? Um, it's been, I want to say like 2 years, 3 years now. And not we, because I'm not close to her, but she celebrates her birthday. She puts on a big celebration for her birthday every year because she outlived my mom and my aunts, her sisters. She outlived all of them, and she was the second youngest. My mom was the youngest, and she was the second youngest. I think I told you guys this story before. My grandmother had 2 sets of children. The first set of children she gave up for adoption. The first 4 kids. Well, she had 6 because my mother was a twin, but one twin died at birth. And then one daughter died when she was really young, and there was 4 left. And once my grandfather, her husband, died, she gave up those 4 children for adoption, and she remarried. The guy that she remarried said that he does not want those kids in the house, so he bought how many bedrooms was it? It was 1, 2, 3. He bought a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in the suburbs of Uniondale, Long Island. At that time, it was a very prominent Black American middle-class neighborhood. He bought a house there and settled with her, and they had 3 other children. And he did not want the original 4 children in the household, so she had to give them up for adoption. My mother was the youngest, and they have all since passed away, but one. My aunt she's outlived all of them, and now she's sick with congestive heart failure and other problems. But yeah, me and my hubby were just talking about getting healthier. It's a must in this house. I want to juice it from work. Oh, it's not a. I love Anama. Oh my god, that's my favorite. That's my favorite brand. But it does its job. I just need consistency. LOL. Thanks for this. Yeah, make sure you get up and you get your steps in every day. Yes, make sure you get up and you get your steps in every day. What God says rest on Sunday. Well, not really Sunday. It's actually Saturday, but that's a story for another time, child. But make sure you get your steps in every day if you can. Make sure you get up and you're going outside and you're getting vitamin D. I don't think Black people realize just how important getting vitamin D is for us. Make sure you're getting some sunlight every day. Make sure you're getting your steps in every day. You're moving your body every day. Because like I said, our community it feels like we are just riddled with all types of diseases. And I know that it's purposely done to us, the type of foods that they choose to put in our neighborhoods. You know, and not in all neighborhoods, but in a lot of neighborhoods, there's a liquor store in every corner. There's a damn fast food, some type of fast food restaurant in every corner, especially in predominantly Black inner city, like what they would call ghetto hood neighborhoods. It's nothing healthy in those neighborhoods. And like I said, the stuff that they're choosing to funnel into our neighborhoods, the type of meat that they are funneling into our neighborhoods. You think you go to the store, hey, yo, let me get some chicken over rice, and the chicken that they're serving you is anyway some type of GMO, just yeah, that they're specifically put in our communities, trying to a lot of the foods that they're putting in our communities, especially now, they're trying to sterilize us, because y'all could believe that we are only 15% of the population if you want to. Y'all could believe that mess if you want to. In 2025, in 2026, you could believe that mess if you want to. I keep telling people, Roe v. versus Wade, they reversed that, not for us. They didn't reverse that for us. They weren't worried about our numbers dwindling. They were worried about their numbers dwindling. That's why you see them Cubans on the census, or when they fill out for job applications, what they checking? White. A lot of Hispanics, what they're checking? White. So those numbers that you see when it comes to white people, they are, I don't even want to get too deep. They are already the minority in this country. White people are already the minority in this country. And that's why they're going so hard with removing so many immigrants out of this country. They are already the minority. And when they say that they are whatever percentage of the population, that they're still the dominant population in this country, that's a bold-faced lie, because they are allowing so many other groups of people, the Italians, the Cubans, a lot of other, some of the, what do you call those people? Is it Colombians? No. But anyway, there are a lot of other, obviously the Irish, because the Irish weren't even identified as white. So they are allowing a lot of other groups of people to come over here and identify as white, trying to create allies over here because their numbers have dwindled. Let me see. Yeah, never get meat from Walmart. I knew that. You ain't got to tell me. I knew that from where I just heard it's the worst. A truck driver told a YouTuber, yeah, Queen Sheba, that they take the worst meats to Walmart. Yes. Yeah, the hoods first. Yes. The bad meat. Yes. The meat be about spoiled, but the truck driver said he still delivers it. Let me tell you something. When I lived, I can't remember, this was near Pitkin Avenue in Brooklyn. It wasn't too far from Pitkin Avenue in Brooklyn. This area that I was living in at the time, it was a predominantly Caribbean neighborhood. Almost all Caribbean. And I was renting a room somewhere in that area. Y'all know my backstory, right? A lot of y'all know my backstory. I was renting a room in that area. And I will never forget this. To this day, I remember what those supermarkets in that neighborhood looked like. They were disgusting. They were when I tell you they were disgusting, ugh, even I, even me at that age, knew not to ever buy meat out of those supermarkets in that area. But everyone was shopping there like it was nothing. Buy the meat like it was nothing. I wish I could remember the name of the supermarket, but I know that it was like right off of Picken Ave in Brooklyn. And I remember I would see that supermarket and I would think, why would anyone shop in there? The meat looked spoiled. The meat would look spoiled and dry. I ain't never known no meat to look dry. And you ain't cooked it yet. And that always stuck with me. I always thought that was weird that they sold meat like that over there. And obviously, I've been in other neighborhoods like that were predominantly FBA neighborhoods, EBA neighborhoods, and the supermarkets were horrible. But that supermarket in particular, I remember going in there one day, and I was like, "What the is this? What is this?" Like, it was so crazy. It was crazy to me. And I never stepped foot in that supermarket again. I didn't care how many more blocks I had to go to find the next supermarket, but I never stepped foot in that supermarket again because it just creeped me out so bad. Like, the meat looked old and dry. That's the best way I can explain it. So yes, they are quite literally trying to sterilize us through the food that they're putting in our neighborhood. And the chemicals and the what do you call it? The all the gunk and trash and stuff that they're putting in our neighborhoods, that is done on purpose. That's done on purpose. Where do you get your meat? I get my meat from a butcher, honey. Sugar, if you can find a butcher in your area, even if you can't find a butcher in your area, if you go online and I don't know in your area and type in top, I don't know, butchers or farms in my area and see if they can ship it to you. Like they can, I forgot what it's called, where they cold press it, something that they do with the box where the meat stays frozen, that they can ship it to you. If you can find an actual farm where you can pick your chicken or you can pick your cow that they'll slaughter and cut up and have for you the next day or so on and so forth. Because the meat that they're selling us in them stores, especially if you're in certain areas, yeah. Yeah, and especially whatever deal that I'm talking too much. I'm talking too much. I'm talking too much. I'm talking too much. Yeah, my hubby only likes to go to the butcher. Yeah, I'm like Costco is cheaper, but he don't care. I need to go to yes, yes. Okay, so you want a chicken, you want a whole chicken, and you want a whole cow. You put that in your deep freezer, okay? Or what is it called? If you can't put it in your deep freezer, you can what is it called when you put it in those glass jars? My man's mother does that. I forgot what it's called, but yeah, because the meat that they're selling in these stores, baby, that's what's giving us heart disease. That's what's giving us cancer. That's what's raising our blood pressure. That's what's clogging our arteries. That's what's clogging our cells. Yeah. So you got to be real careful with the type of meat that you buy from these stores. I am telling you. I remember when I was in the Bronx, and it was a seafood joint I used to pass by off of Y'all, I done rented so many damn rooms. Anyway, I can't remember it was deep in the Bronx. I just know it was deep in the Bronx. And I remember passing by a seafood joint early in the morning. This was like, I think even before they opened. Because I used to get seafood from them on a Friday. You know, you get paid when you go get your little seafood. So every 2 weeks or whatever, I would go to the seafood joint when I got up for work. And I would put me some crab legs, some potatoes, some shrimp, you know what I'm saying? Have them, they don't boil it. What is it that they do? Broil it or something like that. It was run by Chinese people. There's one in the Bronx. I think that one is run by Hispanics. But the one that I was in, I mean, there's one in Harlem. That one is run by Hispanics. But the one that I was in the Bronx, it was run by Chinese people. And I remember one day I was on my way to work, and the guy was, the Chinese guy was in the store, and he was uncovering all the stuff. And I saw this man pull something out from his side, and it was a needle. And it stopped me dead in my tracks. And what he was doing, this is why I don't eat, this is why I stopped eating Chinese food years ago. And I've posted videos on my Instagram showing y'all videos of people capturing these Indians and these Chinese, okay, snatching up pigeons off the street. The hell you snatching up a pigeon for? Yeah. I've posted those videos on my Instagram before. And no, it wasn't AI. Okay? Of them Indians that sell that halal food and them Chinese that selling you the fried chicken and the pork fried rice. FYI, it ain't pork in that pork fried rice. It's pigeons. Okay? Some dirty New York pigeons that they putting in that. Anyway. So yeah, he pulled out a needle from his side, some type of needle that he was injecting into the fish to like plump them up, to make them look plump. I said, you have got to be fucking kidding me. And they know that they can get away with it in certain neighborhoods, so they do it. They do it shamelessly. They don't give a damn. They sell you the dirtiest, most disgusting batch of meat and seafood that they can when you are in predominantly low income black neighborhoods. They just simply don't care. And actually, I'm sure, like this is, like I said, y'all can find this information in real time if you think I'm lying. You can find this information while you on the phone with me. Not while you on the phone with me, but while I'm talking to you. You can find this information in real time. There's actually a video of an Indian man who sells halal food in one of those little carts that they be having outside on the sidewalk, especially in New York. And early in the morning, homeboy, it was a pigeon. It was a couple pigeons. Homeboy snatched up a pigeon, put that shit under his shirt, and went back in his cart. There's a video of a Chinese lady from all the food that they throw out, I guess, at the end of the week, because they don't change their oil every day like they're supposed to. They change that shit when they want to. And food has to be on its last lay before they decide to throw it out in certain neighborhoods. This lady was taking oil out the garbage can. And yes, this is in the United States of America. It's not no third world country that I'm talking about. I'm talking about right here in the United States of America, in New York, to be exact. So y'all have to. So I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't understand people who still eat Chinese food. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't understand people who still eat that. Like, why are you still eating that? That halal food, why are you still eating that? Because they don't care what they're serving us. I don't understand people who still... 99.9999% of the food I eat is cooked. That I make. Unless I'm out the country. Now, when I'm out the country, baby, I'm eating no more. I'm eating out almost every day. I'm eating out almost every day, honey. And the crazy part is I lose weight when I leave the country because the food is organic. When you buy fruits, when I spent a couple months in Thailand, right? I had an assignment out there in Thailand. I spent a couple months in Thailand. You can buy fruit, and within a day or two, the fruit will go bad because it's not sprayed with anything. They're not spraying their fruit with anything. Your eggs sit outside. Your eggs are not put in the refrigerator because they're not sprayed with anything. I lost weight when I went there. I lost, actually, not just lost weight, I lost a significant amount of weight when I went to Thailand. Because a lot of the food there is organic. It's organic. Yeah. So when I tell you they just throwing any and everything in this food that we're eating, they're throwing any and everything to preserve it. Any and every motherfucking thing to preserve it, they're putting in the food. I'm gonna girl, where you been? That's why I make my own. Yeah, I make my own food. I make my own food. And for the most part, I make my own juices and my own smoothies. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some days when I'm coming home from the gym where I just don't feel like um, making it, and I'll just stop at a juice bar on my way home and get a juice, like a healthy juice. But for the most part, everything I eat, I make it because I just don't. Let me tell you something. If you are ever fortunate enough, or if you ever decide that you want to live outside the U.S. in certain countries, you guys know that I was married, and I went to Africa several times. When I went to Africa, I also lost a lot of weight, but it is something about Thailand. I don't know what it is about that place, but my nervous system. Oh my God, I felt like I remember. I want to say like my second month there, and me knowing that we had to leave soon because we were going back and forth, and me knowing that we had to leave soon. I remember towards the end of my second month there, I started to become depressed because I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave. There would be some days where, because I wasn't really big on expat groups there, but I did mingle with some of the ladies that were part of the expat groups there in the part of Thailand that I was in. Because when we first got there, we were in Bangkok, and it was like New York. It was really, it felt like New York, and a lot of people in Bangkok speak English. Um, yeah, it felt like New York. But anyway, so especially when I was in Bangkok, I used to hang out with some of the ladies from the expat groups, like on Facebook. We would link up and stuff like that. And one night, I remember we were coming home at like 3 something in the morning, honey. We was hanging out, honey. Okay. And I remember we would go home like 3 something in the morning, and we all had to stop. Like, yo, look how we just cackling and giggling like schoolgirls with not a care in the world, as far as like feeling unsafe and our nervous system being regulated while we were there. And we were like, we could not do this in America. We cannot do this in America. Like, at 3 o'clock in the morning, you looking over your shoulder. Listen, you waiting for that Uber. If you're not driving, if you're too drunk to drive, you waiting for that Uber. Like, nah, let me get none of that. It was none of that. We left the restaurant. It was like a bar slash lounge slash restaurant. We left there, and I was close. Like I said, I was in Bangkok. I was like right there in Bangkok. So the part of Bangkok I was in. I was really close, and so. And the two other girls, they lived in the same building, but their building was further ahead of mine. But they still chose to walk, and we really stopped and was like, "Yo, like this is crazy that we can walk like this back home, and not feel threatened, and not feel like there's a chance that we might get robbed or sexually assaulted at this time of night." So yeah. And we also spoke about like the weight that we lost. It just fell off of us. It wasn't, especially me. It wasn't something at that time that I was doing intentionally. I was doing the same thing I always did. Went up, got up in the morning, went to the gym. So I wasn't doing anything abnormal per se. But for some reason, I lost a ton of weight, and it was the food. It was because the food is healthier. So anyway, let me get off of here. Let me see. I heard that eggs and everything in Thailand taste totally. Yes, I told you the eggs. They don't even in Africa. I noticed that too. They don't put their eggs in the refrigerator. Them eggs sit right there on the counter. They do not put their eggs in the refrigerator. I heard Bangkok is the party place. It's another place I want to go to in Thailand. I'll be watching our retirement from the USA to Thailand videos on YouTube. And they are awesome. Yes, if you can, all the crap in our food. Exactly, Lala. Listen, if you can. This is the last thing I want to say. I really have to get off. I hate when people say, "Oh, it's so much cheaper in Thailand. Oh, it's so much cheaper in, I don't know, whatever part of Africa you're in. Oh, it's so much cheaper in whatever part of the Caribbean you're in." Stop saying that. It's affordable. It's affordable. When we first got to Thailand, we rented out a 2-bed, 2-bathroom apartment. Beautiful apartment. I will repeat, a 2-bedroom, a 2-bathroom apartment. And do you know how much we paid? $550. $550. There was a gym in our building. There was more than one lounge in our building on different floors. The rooftop had a pool, an area where you could go out there and work, or if you wanted to go out there and swim, you could. $550. We only stayed there, when we first got there, we only stayed there, um, I want to say 2 months before we came. No. I'm thinking about the second time. The second time we went out there, we stayed for a shorter time. The first time we went out there, we stayed for a longer time. So yeah, the first time we went out there, we stayed in that apartment for only like 2 months. And it was only because we didn't know where we wanted to go, where we wanted to like stay, like settle in for the months that we were going to be out there. So we found this place and was like, okay, this is $550. This ain't nothing. Let's stay here for 2 months. And while we're staying here, let's look around to see if like maybe we could get a townhouse, to rent out a townhouse, because the townhouses are really affordable out there too. We viewed a lot of townhomes. A lot of the townhomes, like the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhomes that we were looking at, was like $750, $850, $950 for a townhome. Okay, upstairs, downstairs. So yes, it's very, very it's very affordable, in a lot of different parts of Africa. I know that we want to go to Brazil soon, and that's also very affordable, not even depending on where you stay. I can't even say that, because like the metropolitan areas are very affordable. But anyway, y'all, let me get off of here. I'm just rambling at this point. But if you can, travel a little bit. Even if it's just, you take a vacation from your job, go to these places and see if you like them. Especially if you work remote jobs, go to these places and see if you like them, and see if, you can get like a DTV visa, or if you can get like a year visa, something like that. Or, because entering Thailand, they give you 60. Well, I don't know what it is now, because they keep changing it. That's one thing about Thailand, is their asses keep changing their policy. Now I'm not sure why. But when we got there, we could do 60 days, and then you could apply for an extension and get another 30 days. So we would do 90 days, and then we would have to leave, cross the border, obviously, come back in a day or a week. We would always do a week. So after the 60 days was up, we would apply for the 30-day visa, do another 30 days, then cross the border, and then a week later, we would come back. And do that. We want to go to Brazil, and we want to go to Vietnam. I really want to go to Vietnam. I heard Vietnam is even more affordable than Thailand. And I heard Vietnam nightlife is really cool too. Like if you're in Ho Chi Minh City, like if you're living in Ho Chi Minh City, I heard the nightlife is really cool there. But if you're just looking for like a quiet, slow pace, easy breezy, easy going environment, neighborhood, I wouldn't advise you living in Ho Chi Minh City. I have a friend that is in Ho Chi Minh City, and every day she's like, anyway, but anyway, every day it's like a party for her at night. But I'm gonna get off of here, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I guess I'll just catch you in the next live chat. Whenever that will be. Don't forget to subscribe to my other channel, Tales from a Sister 2.0. On that channel, it's I tell the stories of I tell a lot of stories of the enslaved, like what happened during chattel slavery. And I also it's a history channel. That's basically what it is. I'm so tired and delusional and hungry right now. I don't even know what I'm saying. So if you can go and subscribe to that channel, please do so. You can find the link to that channel on my posts on this channel. Like if you go to my post, you can find the link to it. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you in my next live. Bye, girl. How do I get off? Okay.